Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we are going to learn about one of the most important topics in English grammar, nouns. So, let's begin. A noun is a word used as the name of a person, place, thing, quality, action, or state. For example, Ram is the name of a person, Delhi is the name of a place, and words like kindness, freedom, and childhood represent qualities, ideas, or states. Nouns are an essential part of English because we use them constantly in our sentences. There are 5 main types of nouns that we are going to learn: proper nouns, common nouns, collective nouns, material nouns, and abstract nouns. Let's understand each of them one by one. Proper nouns. First, let's talk about proper nouns. A proper noun is the name of a specific person, place, or thing. The important word here is specific. It means that we are talking about a particular person, place, or thing. For example, Ram, Delhi, Gita, India, and Taj Mahal are proper nouns. Let's take a few examples.
Ram is my best friend.
Here, Ram is the name of a specific person, so it is a proper noun. I live in Delhi. Delhi is the specific name of a place, so it is also a proper noun. And finally, Gita is reading a book. Here, Gita is the name of a specific person. So remember, when a noun gives us the specific name of a person, place, or thing, it is called a proper noun. Common nouns. Now let's move on to common nouns. A common noun is the name of a class or category of persons, places, or things. Unlike a proper noun, a common noun does not give us the specific name of something. For example, boy, girl, king, city, village, and jewelry are common nouns. Let's look at some sentences. The boy is playing in the park. Here, boy is a common noun because we are not mentioning the boy's specific name. A girl is singing a song. Here, girl is also a common noun. And the city is very crowded. The word city refers to a general category, not to a particular city. So, the easiest way to understand the difference is this. Ram is a proper noun, but boy is a common noun. Delhi is a proper noun, but city is a common noun. Next, we have collective nouns. A collective noun is the name of a group of people, animals, or things. For example, we have words like team, committee, army, flock, jury, and audience. Think about the word team. A team consists of several people, but we use one word, team, to refer to the whole group. Similarly, flock can refer to a group of birds. There is an important rule to remember here. Collective nouns are generally used with singular verbs. However, they can also take plural verbs in certain situations, especially when we are talking about the individual members of the group or when there is disagreement among them. Let's understand this with some examples. Collective nouns, verb usage. First, the flock of birds flies in the sky. Here, the flock is considered as one group, so we use the singular verb flies. Next, the jury is giving its decision. Again, the jury is considered as one unit, so we use is. But look at this sentence. The team are divided on the issue. Here, the members of the team have different opinions. We are focusing on the individual members, so we use the plural verb are. Similarly, the audience have taken their seats. Here, we are referring to the individual people in the audience, so the plural verb have is used. So, remember this simple rule. When we consider the collective noun as one group or one unit, we generally use a singular verb. When we focus on the individual members, or there is disagreement among them, a plural verb can be used. Now let's talk about material nouns. A material noun is the name of a substance or material from which things are made. Some examples are gold, water, milk, iron, and wood.
Let's look at a few sentences. This ring is made of gold. Here, gold is a material noun because it is a substance from which the ring is made. Water is essential for life. Here, water is a material noun, and the table is made of wood. Here, wood is also a material noun. So, whenever we are talking about a substance or material, we can use a material noun. There is one important thing to remember about material nouns. Material nouns are generally uncountable. This means that we cannot normally count them as individual units. Instead, they are usually measured or weighed. They are also generally used with a singular verb, and we normally don't use "er" and before them. For example, milk is good for health. Gold is very expensive. Water is necessary for life. Notice that we use the singular verb as in each sentence. So, remember, material nouns are generally uncountable and are normally treated as singular. Abstract nouns. Now let's come to abstract nouns. An abstract noun is the name of a quality, feeling, action, or state that cannot be seen, touched, or perceived by the senses. This is different from something like a book or a table, which we can actually see and touch. But we cannot physically see or touch kindness, freedom, or wisdom. These are abstract ideas, qualities, or states. Some examples of abstract nouns are kindness, anger, freedom, wisdom, and childhood. Let's look at some examples. Kindness is appreciated by everyone. Here, kindness is an abstract noun because it represents a quality. He showed great wisdom. Wisdom is something that cannot be physically seen or touched. And freedom is important for all people. Freedom is also an abstract noun. So, whenever a noun represents a quality, feeling, action, or state that cannot be physically perceived by our senses, it is generally called an abstract noun. One more important point is that abstract nouns are generally used in the singular form. For example, people admire her honesty. Here, honesty is an abstract noun. Another example is courage is needed in difficult times. Here, courage is also an abstract noun. So, words such as honesty, courage, kindness, wisdom, freedom, and similar qualities or ideas can be understood as abstract nouns. And now we have covered the 5 main types of nouns: proper noun, common noun, collective noun, material noun, and abstract noun. I hope these concepts are clear and easy to understand. In the next part, we will learn about countable and uncountable nouns, along with several important rules and examples. If you found this lesson useful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay connected for more English grammar lessons. Thank you for watching.